Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our three-part webinar series. This is Dan Edwards with Pact-One Solutions, and we're excited to bring Lacy Phillips from Practice Dynamics to speak about how to beat the competition, branding your practice in 3 easy steps. And Lacy, with that, I'll let you take it away. And thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me, and thank you, everybody, for joining us. Hopefully you have a little bit of food there at your desk, and you're not going to pass out from not having any nutrition. We're going to jump right into this. Now, I'd love to make this a little bit interactive this afternoon, so I'm going to ask a few questions as we move along, and you guys try to raise your hand or hit the little question button as I'm asking you some questions. And then, of course, throughout our small amount of time together today, feel free to ask questions as we go. If you pop up that you have a question, you just click on it there, and either Dan or myself will see that, and we'll be able to answer questions real time, as well as we will answer questions at the end of our webinar today. So again, thank you for joining us, and we're going to jump right in on how to beat the competition, branding your practice in 3 easy steps. Okay, maybe we are. There we go. Our 3 easy steps we're going to talk about today. Step 1 is, who are you? Identifying yourself, your goals, and what are you going to leave behind for the people? How are they going to know who you are, for your clients, for your patients? Step 2 is going to be your mission and vision. And do you have one? Is it still reflective of who you are? Because both of those steps, your identity, your mission, and your vision statement, that goes directly to your brand. That is your brand and who you are. And a brand is a really big thing in today's world. It's so much more than it used to be. And especially in healthcare and in dentistry, we're all trying to figure out who you are. And it's so important for our offices, for our dentists, and for our team members to know and understand your brand. And so before we start talking about your brand and how to get to it, let's actually talk about what branding is. And here's the thing, 97% of all consumers search for local businesses online, which is actually really exciting for our dental industry if you think about it. Most likely, your patients are not searching on a national level to find out who you are. They're looking on the local level, and they're searching online, which is exciting as well. Our hang-up with this, how do they know how to find you? Are your new patients just stumbling upon you because they did a search, and maybe because of your search engine optimization you were in the top 5? Was it luck that they happened to stumble upon you? Because the exciting thing is, people are looking. We know that they're looking. We know that they're searching. The scary part is, how do they actually find you? What is in a brand? Let's think about brands for just a minute. And what is in a brand? How many of you know what this is? If you can, hit your little button for me. We all know this is Mercedes, right? It's so popular. Maybe the car itself isn't as popular, but the brand is what's popular. And what's crazy is that is just an emblem. That is a logo. And yet, anytime you see it, no matter where you are or where you see it, you know exactly who that is. And for most people, even if you don't like the Mercedes brand, you know what that symbol right there represents. We know that it's expensive. We know that it's quality, right? We know that it's kind of almost a status symbol, right? But people who own Mercedes, they usually keep them for a lifetime, and they're Mercedes drivers forever because of the technology. because of the customer service, because of the quality of the car. So everything that that one little logo encompasses, that's a brand. How about this next brand? Who is this? It's Apple products, right? No matter what color the apple is, it can be multiple colors. It can be purple, it can be green. As long as it's this logo right here that has a bite taken out of it, every single one of us knows what this logo represents. This is their brand. We know, again, it's quality products. They set the stage for smartphones, for the Mac AirPads. They set the stage in technology, and they still to this day are setting the stage, setting the bar for what other technology companies are looking for. And all we're doing right now is looking at a picture of an apple. That's their brand. Sometimes it's not always a picture, right? Now this logo is always intriguing to me. A lot of times when we see this logo, it evokes so much more. How many of you just right now all of a sudden want Starbucks? You can smell the coffee, or maybe you have your favorite drink or a little breakfast sandwich that you get from there. It's a funky little logo too. I mean, it's a mermaid, her tail is split, she's got a crown on. It's kind of a different little logo, and yet we know exactly what this company represents. We know that we're willing to pay $5 for 1 cup of coffee because simply, again, this logo is their brand. And how about this one? Like I said, help me sing this one. You can sing it to yourself. So if I start, plop, plop, fizz, fizz, I'll bet you just finished, oh, what a relief it is. This one isn't necessarily the logo, but it's a song that we all know, Alka-Seltzer. These are all of the elements when you think of branding, and I know these are on a national level, but remember, 97% of our patients are searching for us on a local level. And you have to constantly keep in mind, how are they going to find me? These are some of the elements in branding. So step 1 in this 3-step process is identifying who you are. This goes out to our doctors, our providers, our business owners. Who do you want them to remember? And what elements of you do you want your patients to walk out the door with? Have you ever really sat down and asked yourself, what do my patients say about me when I'm not around? When was the last time my patients were advocating me when I did not even ask them to? And if you were a fly on the wall, what would they say about you? This is really important. I love this saying. I actually use this all the time. Your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. How you leave others feeling after having an experience with you becomes your trademark. Think about that Mercedes logo again. The Starbucks logo. The apple. That's their trademark. It's how we feel. It's the emotions that we evoke for people that we do business with on a day-to-day basis. This has to be your brand. So who do you want to be? Who do you want your patients to identify with when they're in the office, but when they're outside of the office? What kind of words come to mind? Compassionate, good bedside manner, positive attitude, excellent team service, customer service. And how about integrity? That's a big one for me. That's absolutely what I want my clients to walk away with. That's what I would want my brand to be about, is integrity. And for me, integrity has always been about doing what I say I'm going to do, providing the highest level of customer service that I can possibly provide. Because we are in the industry of healthcare. They talk about our bedside manner. They talk about our business team, our clinical team, and of course they talk about our prices, right, and insurance. But this all falls under the same category for me. So the first step really in building your brand, identify who you are. What are people going to say about you when you're not in the room on a professional level, right? Hopefully it's the same personally. But what are who are your patient advocates, and what do you want them, how do you want them branding you? Those are the first two things in step number 1. I hope you wrote those down. Identifying yourself, and what are the words that come to mind? Hopefully integrity is one of them. And we're going to start to build your brand around those things. So step 2 in building this brand is you have to have a mission statement and you have to have a vision statement. Even if you have one right now, we find the offices do, but perhaps they were written and created when you purchased the building, when you purchased the practice, when you started practicing. When was the last time you and your team sat down and really went over your mission statement? Is it true of your identity? Does it reflect your integrity in our industry? And is somebody truly going to understand it when they read it? You know, a mission statement should be 1 or 2 sentences. It's not anything that's huge or long, but your entire team should know what it is. As a matter of fact, we recommend the team help you build the mission statement, and they should be able to recite it at any given time. Let's take a look at a couple of mission statements so you can get an idea. One of my favorite businesses in the world, really, is the Mayo Clinic. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had experience with the Mayo Clinic, but it's an amazing healthcare facility. The service that they provide is bar none, in my opinion. This is the Mayo Clinic's mission statement: to inspire hope and contribute to health and well-being by providing the best care to every patient through integrated clinical practice, education, and research. It's simple to read, to remember, and yet I love the second word right out of the gate: to inspire hope. Because a lot of times once people get to Mayo Clinic, they need hope, right? This is a serious healthcare facility. So I love the fact that immediately their mission statement is who they want to be when their patients walk out of the facility. That's a great one. Let's have a little bit more fun with these mission statements. Ben and Jerry, gotta love the ice cream. So what I like about Ben and Jerry is they have 3 separate mission statements. They have a social mission statement, which is kind of fun. They have their actual product mission statement for the ice cream, and they have an economic mission statement. So let's take a look at those. Their social statement: to operate the company in a way that actively recognizes the central role that businesses play in society by initiating innovative ways to improve the quality of life locally, nationally, and internationally. So this is a social, like, let's get together and make the world a better place. Kind of cool. I like it. How about their product statement about their ice cream itself? To make, distribute, and sell the finest quality all-natural ice cream and euphoric concoctions with a continued commitment to incorporating wholesome, natural ingredients and promoting business practices that respect the earth and environment. You can see that their product statement kind of flows into their social statement. Again, talking about ice cream on a worldwide basis here. I think it's awesome. Their economic mission statement: to operate the company on a sustainable financial basis of profitable growth, increasing value for our stakeholders, and expanding opportunities for development and career growth for our employees. So again, they're talking about their stakeholders, the business itself, career growth for their employees. They're breaking it down at this point for the people who serve them. They're breaking it down for their team advocates. I love the idea of having 3 separate mission statements. Now, how do you come up with a mission statement? There's a lot of information on this page, and certainly nothing I would expect you guys to remember, but this is a strategic plan. This is our worksheet when we're working with dental offices across the country on how do you come up with your mission statement? How do you come up with your values and your vision? And so these are just a few. I wanted to give you guys an idea of maybe sitting down. It's more than just sitting down with a pen and paper and writing out your goals. It's so much more than that. I love why do we exist? That's a good one. Your core values. How will we behave? Part of this is giving your team members the ability to say yes to anything that the patient needs, or finding a way to make it work. How will we behave? Do we use the patient's name all the time? Do we use our manners? Is the person standing in front of us the absolutely most important person in the world at that given time? And then if you skip down here to competitive advantage and strategy, how will we win? I love that one. How will we win? Are we winning by retaining our patients? You know, a lot of people talk about new patients, new patients, new patients. I got to tell you, we've got a gold mine with your current database. I would rather see you talk about how do we win by keeping the patients who have already walked through the door. And then you have some strategic priorities, your goals, and your actions on how to make all of that happen. It's a big worksheet, and of course over here on the right-hand side, you've got where you have to start talking about how do we accomplish this. So we have our mission, we know what our values are, but how do we start to accomplish that? And what is our implementation process? So again, sitting down, writing your mission statement and your vision statement isn't just pinning your goals and your thoughts. It's really, truly thinking about how are we going to conquer the world? Let's put a plan in place and make sure that everybody is on board with that plan. Dan, do we have any questions thus far?
Not at this point, Lacy.
Okay. Okay, cool. I didn't think so, but I don't want to skip over anybody if they have anything. So I'm a Google girl. I love my Google, and since we're talking about social marketing a little bit here, I thought it would be fun to put up Google's mission statement. Google's mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Again, the world's information. I think Google has done a pretty good job of that since they are the #1 search engine in the world. And they definitely have made it useful. They have some exciting things coming still. When you think Google couldn't get any better, they're fixing to get better. So remember, step #1 was identifying who you are. Who do you want to be? What will your patient advocates say about you? And step #2 is building that mission statement and your vision and allowing your team to carry that out for you. Now we get into the fun stuff. This is the stuff before step #1 and step #2, that was the work. That's the work that you have to put into it. Step #3, this is your actual branding process. For me, this is the funnest part of it all. There is so much that can be done with branding. Excuse me. Let's talk about the elements of branding. Okay, so what is in a brand? What are you guys going to see? First of all, it could be your tagline, or your slogan. For example, if I said, just do it, we all know who that is, right? That's Nike. They're not just known for their little swish mark, they're known for their tagline, which is just do it. Sometimes maybe it's the font. It's the way the sign is built. It's the way the letters appear on the signs or on all of the marketing materials. For me, I think of Mrs. Fields. You'll realize as we go through this, I like food because all of the branding, it's either technology or food. But for fonts, I always think of Mrs. Fields cookies. When you think of that, I immediately think of the red font. It's in cursive. It makes me think of maybe a grandma, and she's in the kitchen, and she's cooking these amazing cookies, right? So it could be the font that you recognize with your favorite brands. How about the tone of voice? When I think of a tone of voice, I think of the gecko from Geico, right? So anytime I hear an Australian now, I think of the insurance company. It could be that spokesperson for it, right? And I don't know that we're necessarily going to have that in dentistry, but what I want you to be thinking about is what is going to set you apart from the 10 other dentists that are on the exact same street that you're on, in the same city. Maybe the smells, not in dentistry necessarily, but maybe it's the smells that identify a brand. When I walk into the airport and I smell something cinnamony and sugary, I immediately think of Cinnabon. Okay? And so these are the areas that are helping us identify our brand. Maybe it's the colors. Every single time you see certain colors, you think of a brand. For example, the golden arches. Anytime you see a yellow M, you're going to think of McDonald's. One of the things I'll tell you we've done with Practice Dynamics is we have utilized our colors. It started out when Bonnie and I were starting the company. We kind of looked in our closet to see what clothes we had the most, and we realized, you know, we wear a lot of black, white, and red. So we decided to make that our company colors. Well, now anytime we leave the house to go to work, we always have on black, white, and red in a different variety. Our laptop bags, even our laptops, they reflect the black, white, and red brand. And I'll tell you, it's actually starting to catch on because I've been identified by the color of our business and not necessarily even by my name. I'm okay with that because that's our branding. That's what people have picked up. And we're able to start making that work. Maybe it is your logo. Is your logo unique? You know, luckily we don't see very many giant elephants with a toothbrush in their trunk. Thank goodness we passed that part of dentistry and marketing. But is your logo a tooth? Is that what you want it to be? Does it have to be a tooth just because we're in dentistry? Take a look at your logo and see if it's something that truly sets you apart from, again, the other dentists that are in town with you as well. Maybe it's a sound. When I think of a sound as branding, I think of Southwest Airlines. You see the commercials and you hear the ding, you are free to move about the country. So it could be the sounds that they hear. Of course, we're already branded in dentistry by the drills, right? That's not necessarily what I was talking about, though. And of course, your brand could be your business name. Maybe it's the actual business name that sets you apart from everybody else. No matter what element you're using to brand yourself, you have to really discover it and dissect it, pull it apart, and make sure it's reflective of who you are. Make sure it's reflective of your mission statement and that this is something that people don't just stumble upon, but they actually go looking for it. Once you've identified what element or combination of elements you're going to use, how and where will you use them? For example, pins. I know every single one of you here have pins in your office or carry pins with you. But how many of you have identified your brand on your pins? So many times we walk into a practice and we see BIC all over the place. Well, unless you are BIC, those should not be your pins. You should have pins with your name, your logo, in your colors. Every single pin in your practice should be identifying you. And especially at your business office, when patients come up to give you money and they say, do you have a pin? You should be handing them a pin that has your brand on it. And let them have it. You know they're going to try to steal it anyway. They're going to take the pin. That's okay. Let them take the pin, because guess what? When they walked out of your office with your pin, they just became your patient advocate. They just became a part of your marketing plan. How about mouse pads? I would be willing to bet every single one of you in the webinar has mouse pads in your office. But are they reflective of you? Do they have your colors, your brand, your business name? And are they nice looking? It drives me crazy to walk into healthcare offices and we have the mouse pad that has the peace symbol on it, or your kids or your dogs. And that's awesome for home. But in the practice, every single thing you look at, you touch, should be a brand of you. So make sure your mouse pads are reflective as well. This is a big one for me, business cards. Every single person who works in a dental practice, or any business for that matter, should have a business card with their name and contact information on it. Every single person should have business cards. You should have them in your wallet, in your purse, in your console of your car, because you never know when somebody is going to ask you, what do you do? Or, oh my gosh, I needed a dentist, right? So you should have that business card. And business cards are fairly inexpensive. It makes me crazy when our office manager or when our doctor says, well, we don't want to give everybody business cards because we go through too many team members. If you're going through too many team members, that's a completely different webinar, right? It's time for you to market yourself, to brand yourself.
Lacy, we do have a
question. And how about your
question.
Appointment reminders? Awesome. Let's have it.
Okay. One of the attendees wanted to know about the length of the branding options, specifically like the tagline or practice name. Should there be any particular, like, should it be longer, shorter? Should you avoid having it too long?
Great question. Thanks so much for asking. So business name. Yeah, we don't want it too long because we need it to stay with them, right? Now, if it's the doctor's name, that's okay, it's a doctor's name, but maybe your tagline is a play off the doctor's name, or it's reflective of that type of practice that you have. How long should your tagline be? Here's what we do. We say it over and over out loud. We walk around saying it. Does it roll off your tongue? Is it difficult to remember, or is it catchy? I'm not as worried about the length of it as I am what's going to draw me to that, what's going to make me remember that tagline. Hopefully that makes sense. I definitely, your mission statement is short and sweet, so you want your tagline to be short and sweet as well. Hopefully that makes some sense for you. Thank you for the question. Okay, we'll go to appointment reminders. Hopefully all of you this is a part of your retention program, right? Making sure that your patients come back through the door. Getting them through the door once is difficult, but we've got to get them to come back over and over. Are your reminders reflective also of your brand? Because we don't want to have just a generic reminder going out to your patients. Again, it's all about marketing now. This is eat, breathe, and sleep marketing at this point, because this is how our patients find us. Stationery and letterhead. Again, this should be custom made. This is reflective of who you are. If you had nice stationery and you ran out and now you just make black and white copies of what you used to have, what does that say? What is that reflective of? What people are going to look at that and think about what? Is that truly reflective of who you are? And in that stationery and letterhead, how many of you give out the 2 pocket folder presentation to your patients? So for example, if you give them a tour of the practice, or after their first visit you give them a folder with information about your practice, or maybe when you give them a treatment plan you give them a pocket folder about your practice. What does your pocket folder look like? What materials are in there? Is it just a basic one color, and you went to Staples and you got it and you put stuff in there now? Or is it a custom made with your office name, number, the colors, everything that's reflective of you? So again, I want you guys, everything that you touch at the office, even this afternoon after the webinar, look around you. Take a look around and see, is this truly reflective of who we are? When a patient walks out of here, what feeling, are they going to remember about us? And the same is true of your office building. When was the last time you came into the office the same way the patients do? So drive to work a different direction than what you normally drive, and recognize your surroundings. When you pull into the parking lot, what do you see? How does the pavement look? How does the parking lot look? Are there parking spaces available? How is your signage outside? Does it look okay? What about when you walk up to the front door? What does the front entryway look like? And when you walk into your office? All of that is reflective of who you are. And team members on this call today, on the webinar today, believe it or not, it's reflective of you as well, because you're a part of this office, you're a part of the brand. And we have to remember that as we're moving forward as well. Business team members, do you look like a business team member? Do you look professional, or do you look like you just came up from the clinical area from sucking spit, right? Clinical team, do you look professional back there even with your scrubs on? Do you guys all match? Do you have your business name and your name on your logo, on your scrubs? Do your scrubs get ironed? Hopefully they get washed. Just kidding. I know they get washed. Do they get ironed? Are they pressed, or are they wrinkled? Okay, this is all of that reflection. This all goes back to your brand and the patients recognizing who you are. And the last 2 parts of this, we're going to talk a little bit about website today, but we have series number 2 next month, and we're really going to dig into websites and social media for you there. But this is the last part of this. The website, your brand is directly reflected in your website. And I always look at websites like an encyclopedia of you. This is where they go to gather their knowledge. This is where they go to research. Business team members, you know, they stalk you before they ever come into the office. They're looking at your picture. They're reading your bios. Go look at your website today. Is your team on there? Do you have pictures of your team? And is it still your team, or do you have people on your website who no longer work for you? These are really key components of branding, right? You want to make sure that it's always up to date. You want to make sure that your website is, in fact, reflective of the type of dentistry that you do. Do you have the videos on there? And then from your website, we go directly to social media, right? So it's going to wrap up this whole social marketing and your branding, which is series 2. So I'm not going to get too much into the social media today. When we're talking about those websites, research shows that consumers or our patients respond best to websites that are clean, warm in tone, and do not have the gimmicky splash graphics or the music. You know, there for a while, we were digging on the graphics and the music that would play, and a couple of times you'd be looking at the website, and all of a sudden somebody would walk out from the website and stop and start talking to you. We're not as much into those gimmicky things as we are anymore. What's important about websites is that they are clean, they're fresh, and that you can get the information that you need from the website. One of our favorite websites that we constantly keep an eye on is Nike. They change their website at least once a month. They change it. It's super innovative, I guess is the word. I was trying to think, what's the exact word? It's innovative. It's always changing, but you know when you're going there, you're going to find what you're looking for. That your websites should be the same way. And they also have to be mobile responsive. And I bet this is something Dan can help you guys with as well. If you ever have questions about mobile responsiveness, you've got the best IT guys in the world over there. But no matter, when I say mobile responsiveness, no matter what device you're using, whether it's a smartphone, a tablet, a compact laptop, or a big old hardwired PC, you want to make sure that your website is responsive to that screen. And your IT people and mostly your website people would be able to help you with that. But I bet Dan could look at it for you, and he would be able to tell you whether or not your website is mobile responsive. One of the things I really want you guys to think about, I want you this afternoon or tomorrow, is to go look at your website. Statistics show that we have 10 seconds to capture somebody's attention and keep them on our website and get them to click on something. 10 seconds. That's not very much if you think about it. Let's count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many of you would have left at 4? Right? I mean, you think about it, you think 10 seconds isn't very long. But when you count it out, 10 seconds is a long time. Because it's really hard to keep our attention today. There's so many things that distract us. I would be willing to bet there's a few of you right now on this call who are not necessarily paying attention because we have so many other things that distract us. So go to your website, count to 10, and see if it would have held your attention or if you would have already left. If there are some really good things about your website, which I have no doubt there is, make notes. What did hold your attention? What do you like about that? And what needs to be changed? They say, industry standards say we should be updating our website, at least in our industry, a minimum of once a year you should do a complete update on your website. This is a website, one of our clients. I really love what she's done. This is brand new this year. It's soft. It's those soft, warm tones. She has the video on that home page. Their pictures are professional. They look congruent throughout. There's actually even a contact, so you can click right there to get a hold of the office manager. They have their patient reviews right here on their website, which is a great idea because we believe reviews. And a review, an online review, is almost as trusted as a friend telling us word of mouth. We believe our reviews, so it's good to have them on your website as well. One of the videos that they have on there is a tour of their office, which is perfect for them because they have a beautiful office and they keep it clean. So they did a video tour of the office, what to expect. And believe it or not, these videos get a lot of hits. People will actually click on them and use them. Now, this, of course, is one of our very favorite websites. But again, it's very clean. What I like about what Pact-One has done with their website is it's interactive. Very first thing is we can watch a video on what they do. And really, you know, that's what we do now. We've become a society that doesn't read anymore. We watch videos and we look at pictures. So immediately, Dan and the guys have put something together for us where we can watch a video to see exactly what they have to offer us. It makes it easier for us to find them. Again, make sure you're mobile responsive. You have, and no matter who's there, can see it. 77% of mobile searches happen from the home or when they're literally in the shop. 77% of searches happen there. 55% of those searches, if it's a good site, will lead to that consumer taking action, which means either a phone call to make the appointment, walk in, or the actual purchase, which is awesome. So make sure that your brand is everywhere. Everywhere that you go, your website, social media, your marketing materials, everywhere you go, your branding is there. Make sure that your website is up to date and reflective of who you are. And then we'll take it over to the social media next month. So next month we're going to talk more about which social media sites you should be using in dentistry and why you should be using those sites. So just for a minute, take a look at, not even for a minute, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to study that page. There's about 16 logos on that page. I'm willing to bet all of you know every single one of them. They're only logos. But you know what this is right here in front of you? This is branding. Branding in 3 easy steps. Make sure, number 1, you identify who you are. Number 2, you're going to build your mission and your vision statement. And then number 3, go out there and brand it like crazy. Make sure everybody knows who you are. Hopefully we'll see all of you again next month so we can talk about who have you told and where and how are you going to tell them. I appreciate y'all's time this afternoon. Hopefully you were able to walk away with some information there, and if you have any questions, I would love to answer them at this time. Dan the man?
Oh wait, I do see a question. Hang on one second. No, just one of the attendees thanking us for doing such a great job.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you guys next month. Have a great work day.
Thank you, Lacy, for joining us.
You bet.
And we do want to let everybody know, we hope you've enjoyed it. I know that I've learned a lot and hope that we've shared something valuable everybody can take away and apply to your practice. I know we get caught up in the patient style of everything, but we also want you to be able to grow your business using technology. We look forward to our next 2 webinars in the How-To series. The next one is December 16th at 12 o'clock Pacific time, also by Lacy. And it's a continuation of what we're doing here. We've also recorded this session if anybody needs to listen to it or go back and recap. And so we're really looking forward to that. If you have any suggestions you'd like to see us present in the future, please just send a quick email to Dan. I know that sharing this information back and forth, we're hoping that we will, quote unquote, Lacy, inspire you to continue to grow with your business. So that being said, we will look forward to everybody registering for the next one, and we'll see you there. Have a great rest of your week.